Hey, 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 what's going on? What's cooking?
Hey there. Here we are. Another day.
We are back. Another
Poly pimp moment.
episode of the Poly Pimps.
Yes. I
uh,
have some sad news.
oh no.
Someone
What's
found out I was a poly pimp and they're very upset.
oh my God, girl. I think it's all bad news this week then, because I think
Yeah.
I was in the same situation. Somebody who's been mad about that now found out that, the conversation has been happening in my household, in my house, and is very mad about that and tried to like shout in the neighborhood. And I mean, I'm
What?
talking like a lot of drama. It's like,
Oh,
oh,
heck
what's going
no.
on?
Oh, heck
Yes.
no. Oh, heck no.
It's been kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
People are
Yeah, like
upset about freedom. That's unfortunate.
exactly.
You know, I'm a,
Yeah.
I'm a I'm a revolutionary about freedom. So, hi,
Yes.
folks who are here. Identify yourself. If you want to be like in the behind the scenes, that's
Conversation. Yeah.
fine. That's fine. But like, say hello in the chat, or oh well, then you would identify yourself.
Yes.
Okay. Well, hey, hi, you guys. How's everything, guys and
uh,
gals? We don't know who you are because we see people coming in to the page, but we don't see you unless you say something.
something
That would be
exactly.
that would be nice.
Hey Maritza, thank you
Oh,
for being
Maritza's
here.
in the
Welcome,
house.
guys.
Hey,
For some
Maritza.
reason,
Okay.
it feels like it's been a long time since we've been here, girl. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Like doing these.
Yeah.
When did we start? We have to go back and look.
Oh, no, no, no. I'm saying like since the last podcast, it feels like it's been a long time, but it's not. It's
Oh.
only been 2 weeks.
Oh no, it's
But
only been 2 weeks.
I know, but it feels like it's been a long time. Hey,
Yeah.
Earl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been I invited a friend who we used to podcast together. I hope he jumps on.
Okay, that would be
And I hope you
nice.
guys, if you're open to staying into this conversation, y'all engage because it's not about us. And of course, I'm going to post the link if you guys want to jump in
Hey,
and
EJ.
actually talk to us. Then this is the link.
And remember, you don't have to be polyamorous to be part of the conversation. Just
No,
like
this is about
everything else,
education.
you
It's about
do not.
education, and this is so that your poly friends have someone to talk to.
Exactly. At least if they have some questions, they feel comfortable enough coming to you because they know you may have a
Yeah,
little bit of knowledge or
absolutely.
even being informed yourself. Because some people think, oh, I'm not polyamorous. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not into religion, but I'll sit down and have a conversation about church and certain things.
Oh,
I
yes.
that,
I like to have conversations about almost anything from the foolishness to like serious, interesting transgender stuff, like just stuff that's real life stuff. So, yeah,
exactly.
I like a good conversation. I'm a
Yep.
sapio.
Yes, yes. So tonight, what are we talking about? We are back with because people wanted part two
Yes, we're here. We're
of
here with part two of transitioning from monogamy to
to
polyamory.
polyamory.
We're over here. We want you to come over here. We're trying to get folks to be more open to it because the truth of the matter is, let's be real, most people are sharing of their partners, unfortunately,
Unwillingly,
unethically, unwillingly, and that is not cool. And
unknowingly.
unknowingly or knowingly. And the fact of
Well,
the
yeah.
matter is that's not cool. And for some reason, y'all think that people should just go on the straight path and be righteous and don't
Well,
do that anymore and you know
right,
divorce them and break up your family when you
right.
could really just have it all. Like someone told me today, oh, you want to have your cake and eat it too, huh, Sky? And I was like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So I know this person. I mean, we're not necessarily like friends, but I know this person that um he watches the podcast and he's like, yeah, this is amazing. And we were just having a conversation about it, and he's like, this is what I envisioned for my life, but I can't even talk to my wife about it. I'm like, why not?
Hmm.
No, because she won't have the conversation. Meanwhile, Mr. Like the wife knows that he steps out and does his thing, and sometimes she gets mad and goes crazy about it. But yet, so she accepts the fact that he can step out over and over, and she'll get mad over and over. But she refuses to have the conversation to open up the relationship, or just talk about it, talk about what's going on and how we can work on this thing. So it is very sad that people prefer cheating
They prefer
over
some
being
bullshit.
open and transparency,
That's
being
what
transparent.
they prefer living in the bullshit. That's what they do. All in the thick of it.
So yeah, like we talked about, I'm hoping tonight we will not stay until 10 o'clock. I know we always go over time and the conversation gets so good, but tonight I really have to cut it short.
That's fine.
So
I'm open to that, but if we have to continue again until we get all the information out, we'll just do a part 3. That's all. That's
that
how I
would be
feel.
good. That would
That's
be
how I feel.
good.
So
So,
let's get to the someone is whoa, we got questions already. What is going on? We didn't even do the intro. But,
I guess,
but I
should we
guess
start with question and just go from there?
I
But I
think
feel like we're
so. I
gonna
think
miss the
so.
points though.
I don't
No?
think we're not designated to have any particular type of format. So
Okay.
all right. So I already see one popped up. So
Define open relationship.
define open relationships.
Hey Marie. Hey Damani. Hey Kurt.
I would say an open relationship is very different than a polyamorous one. I just had this conversation today. A lot of people think that open relationships and polyamory are the same thing. They're actually different. An open relationship is when you have a semi monogamous relationship. That's what I'll call it. It's semi
Mm-hmm.
monogamous. It presents to the world that there is a couple, right? There's two people in a relationship. However, open relationship signifies like what you just said about the wife knows that the husband steps out. That's an open relationship. It just means that you actually are okay with your partner having other intimate relationships outside of the relationship.
I would add to that. So in the case that I presented, that she's not even okay with it, but she just won't have the conversation. She won't accept it. She'd rather just get mad all over again every time it happens.
So
But
she doesn't accept it. Is that really an open relationship
it's
or that's
not.
just
That's
some
why I was
bullshit?
saying it's not. It's not open relationship. It's the bullshit.
It is bullshit, yeah. So that we can't qualify that one as an open relationship. An open
It's not.
relationship is agreements. It's like I agree.
Yes.
Okay, honey, you want to get your freak on over there? Go ahead, do your thing, whatever. Okay, just
Right.
come home and just make sure these bills are paid. Boom.
Right. Well, I'm gonna add as well. So a lot of times to open relationship, people in those kind of relationships, the couple, they are okay being sexual with somebody, but they're not okay with the emotional aspect
Yes.
of
Yes.
the relationship.
Yes.
So they don't want you, hey D, hey Michelle. They don't want you to fall in love with the person. They're okay with you going to have sex over there with whomever you choose to, you want to. Just don't get attached, which is a hard thing if you sleeping or spending time with this one particular person, right? Because we all know as you start hanging out more, longer, you start developing some kind of attachment that later on can develop into love and all that stuff. So I feel like in order for a couple to be successfully open without any kind of attachment, they would have to be sleeping with different people every single time and truly avoid spending time with those people that they are getting involved with, you know?
Yeah.
So,
That is
so
exactly true. That would be the difference. That's actually the difference. So polyamory offers the emotional connection and wants it and is open to it. Because we know, I think polyamory makes more sense in my mind because, you're just going to have feelings and we're not trying to block that.
Exactly. I mean, you can't control how you feel about
Yeah.
somebody.
And we're not,
Unfortunately, you can try and fight it, but at the end of the day, things are
why?
going to happen because how many times you've ended up liking somebody when you didn't expect it to? I know that's happened to me before. Somebody I was looking kind of like side eye. Oh, okay.
Oh, how many people have said to me, Sky, but what if we fall in love with each other? And I'm like, isn't that the goal?
Yeah. I would have fallen in love all over again, like five
But
times, 10
like, why
times,
don't
a
you
million
want to do
times.
that? Why do you want to block that? Well, because
Love feels so
we're not gonna
good.
be serious. We're not gonna be, we're not gonna. And I'm like, you're not gonna be. I know I'm free. My heart is free to be, and I'm
Exactly.
going to allow what happens. But
Right.
if you gotta block the love and emotions, come on,
Yeah, it's not
you're working
it's not
against the
realistic.
current here.
Yeah. Hey
So
Natalie. So I hope that answers the question about the open relationship.
here's another
Um
one. You
yes.
see it?
EJ.
This one is a good. This one is the thick of it. What was the
Yes.
most efficient way or tips you can share to transition personally or with your partner? So I
Which
think
is the
we should take both, right? You want to do the personally or with the partner, and I'll do the other one.
it doesn't matter. We can just both chime in.
Okay. So
Hmm.
let's start with the personally.
Right.
Personally is going to be easier because it's you. It's all about
Oh,
you.
can I talk first on that one just because by the time I transitioned into polyamory, I was single.
Same.
Because you ended up leaving a
Oh yeah, I
relationship
left.
for that, right?
I left the relationship because I wanted to do polyamory and he was like, hell to the no, to the
Yeah.
no, no, no.
I said no, no, no.
He was
But
like, yeah, it's not gonna happen here in this
yeah,
lifetime. So I was
right.
like, okay, cool. I'm out.
So I mean, personally, I was already transitioning into a divorce before I officially became polyamorous, but I was definitely thinking about that. um wasn't fully aware of the terms and all that stuff, so it was a lot easier for me because I didn't have to try and convince a partner to get into polyamory with me and then decide, okay, well, we're not going to be together anymore because you don't want to be poly. um, so what I had to do first was literally think about, why do I really want to be polyamorous? What makes me think I am polyamorous? Like, what are my reasons to want to live as a polyamorous? And I realized I've always been polyamorous since I was younger, because I think I've talked about this before. When I was like, I don't know, 17, 18, I had a boyfriend. uh, Long story short, he told me, he's like, oh, so I'm dating so and so. I didn't know how you were going to feel about that, blah, 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 because it was going to be inevitable that we were going to cross paths. And he wanted to cover his ground by telling me. So I said, oh, okay, well, that's cool, whatever. And he just looked at me like, are you crazy? I said, well, you have your relationship with her, you have your relationship with me. That's two different things. Unless you want to break up, I'm cool. I don't care. Like, let's keep it going. Of course, at the time, I didn't think about, oh, does she know about me kind of thing. I just thought, I don't care. So we ended up still dating for a little while after, and then we broke up, not even for those reasons, just we ended up breaking up. And I always knew that I didn't have the bone in me that just felt so mad and angry when other people looked at my partner, when other people loved or had crushes
Mhm.
on my partner. I mean, when I had a boyfriend that literally I knew this girl really liked him, and I was like, do you, like, don't look at me. If you think she likes, I mean, I knew she liked him like that. I was like, go for it, and we can still be together. But at the time, he thought it was a trap. And I'm like, now that he knows, we're still friends till this day. And he's like, now that I know who you truly are, um, I realized you weren't kidding when you told me that, I could be with her or do whatever. But at the time, he didn't believe it. So it was easy. It was easier transitioning into polyamory because there are certain feelings that I didn't have to deal with. I'm not saying just because you have those feelings doesn't mean you can't be poly. It's just it was a lot easier to transition. So of course I had to do some work on myself as well. Um, and just read a lot of books and talk to other people who are more experienced and how to navigate those waters rightfully and ethically. It's all about consent, transparency, communication. If you can get those mastered under your belt and all that stuff, I mean, we're always in a stage of growth. We're always growing. So no
Absolutely.
matter how experienced you are into it, there's always going to be some more to learn. But for me personally, it was easier because I didn't have a partner to try and convince to transition with me.
Right.
That was a lot
I
of
think
talking.
no, but it explains a lot. I think that for folks who are partnered up, I personally think a lot of times, and this is me reading Reddit and Facebook groups, and you'll see specifically the woman. This is not all across the board, but this is a lot of times you'll say the woman will say, "Well, my boyfriend or my husband wants to be polyamorous, and I think I'm going to try. And, what are some pointers and all this bullshit?" And I'm like, do you want to do this? Because if you're not into this, then ain't no reason to have this conversation to be holding on to him. So my best advice for people in a partnership, if they're already in a partnership and and one wants to be poly and the other one is reluctant, I would just say break up the relationship, just start from fresh. Because to get someone into a mindset of what we'll call sharing, because it's not quite sharing, but we're going to use
Right.
the term. That's what monogamous people say. Oh, you want to share? I ain't sharing, no
Hmm.
man. I ain't sharing. You can't just tell someone like, oh, we're going to do this, okay? And you're going
Right.
to be okay with it. That's like abuse. And any woman or man who decides to stay involved with someone who wants to see other people and it goes against the grain of your soul,
Hmm.
you're just self-sabotaging. You know what I'm saying? So,
Now, I think some people may need a little time, right? And a lot of times, not the first time that you mention it to your partner, they're gonna be like, "Oh, sure, let's do this." Because remember, you had time to think about this
mhm,
situation. You had time to process, just like for a breakup, right? When you're gonna break up, the person who's gonna break up with the other one, they already processed this. They went through this. They already know what's coming. They prepared themselves when the other person is just learning about it. So you got to give them a little time to adjust. I'm not saying force it, but you got to, if that person is willing to take that time, like, I don't think just breaking up the relationship right away is necessarily key. It's just give them some time to process that whole big world that you just opened up. And then if you can have a decent conversation, I know I could never have a conversation, but if you can have a decent conversation, sit down and explain what it is and why you want to do it, maybe that person will understand. And then they can make a better decision from that point. You know what? But it requires a lot of growth as well on both sides, to be able to get to that point. You know what? This is not for me. So I don't think I can do that. So that's when at that point I feel like, okay, you got to split, because we want different things. We want different paths. We believe different things. And I feel like that's when a breakup is necessary. But I don't feel like it's always going to lead to breakup. Some people, by the time you explain it, because a lot of people, like, even though we're still trying to share information out there, there's still a lot of people that don't know what polyamory is. And I still encounter so many people who just, as soon as I say polyamory, they think swinging,
mhm.
which is validated, just whatever, it's just not what it is. So take your time to learn about it first before you turn it down. It's just kind of like, at least take a bite, try the food first before you
I
like,
mean,
oh, I
it's
don't want
it's good
this.
to take a you're right. It is good to, if your partner says this is something I'm interested in, it is probably a good idea to, if you're the one dropping it on your partner and saying this is what I'm interested in, you definitely got to give them some time. So
Right.
you can't drop it on, say, next week I want a new girlfriend. Like, you
Right.
got to give them months, and it could be years, but you
Yeah.
got to give them some time if you want to keep that person in your life to digest this world,
Mhm.
because transitioning mentally, the sex part is the biggest part that people like have a hard
Exactly.
problem with, because they're like, I have been indoctrinated since birth that I can only have sex with one person, and that's the person, and that is my person, and nothing else. And so when you start saying I want to have multiple partners, that is where you it shakes up people's world. It just, and some people can never get into it. Like, let's just face it, they just cannot break free. So I would say, if you do have a partner and you drop it on them, give them time to digest it and see if they, because what's going to happen is they're going to go into a quest of information. I see people online all the time, like, what is this? What do I do? How do I feel? How do, and so there's like a whole emotional thing, right?
Mhm.
Can't get through it. I know a few couples that ended the relationship because one of them wanted to be poly and the other one was like, I can't accept it. One was mine, but and a couple others that they were just like, I mean, I know one set of friends where the girl, she tried to like go out on a date. Like, she was like, okay, let's do this. And she tried to go out on a date with somebody else while he was on a date with somebody else. And she was like crying on the date. Like, she was
Mhm.
like, I'm so sad. Like, I don't even want to be here. And she's just trying to
Mhm.
do it to like get into it, like be free and see other people. But she was like, I don't really want to be here. I want to be with my man who I love, and he's with somebody else. And so they ended up breaking up because she just couldn't get into it. And that's just the reality. Um,
Right. It's gonna happen. This couple I know, well, the husband actually messaged me after the first couple episodes that we had, and he said, "Thank you so much. We really appreciate your podcast. We learned so much, and the information was just very basic, plain and simple, like for everybody to understand that a kid could understand it." And then that his wife and him were looking into polyamory because they realized monogamy wasn't truly what they wanted, but it was just what it was the
what
default.
they did, yeah.
Um, it was a default dynamic. So they wanted to explore polyamory. Well, it's been a few months now. They're struggling. So at this point, I try to check in every so often just to see, hey, how you doing? How can I support you? I've of course recommended all the stuff that that we always recommend, books and podcasts and shows and all that stuff. And the last I heard, basically, the wife was having a little bit of a hard time adjusting to him just talking, not even going out, just talking to other women. Um, but I'm like, it's going to happen. She has not gotten past that point yet to where she wants to even talk to other men because she's still trying to process what that looks like. So he is not going through those feelings yet of the wife talking to other men, but she's going through this difficulty of accepting that he's actually doing it. Now, it's not to say that they don't want to do it anymore, it's just hard and they're trying to work through it. So I think they're also seeking counseling to kind of help them. I mean, I think everybody needs counseling, therapy, as a couple, as individuals, whatever, because we all have all kinds. I'm not saying just for romantic purposes, for career
Life,
stuff, life in general.
yeah.
So they're seeking counseling and all that stuff to kind of help them navigate the waters. Now, is this couple gonna be openly polyamorous in 2 years? I don't know. I don't think so. But no matter who you are, you're still gonna struggle with things because people think all of a sudden because they are proclaiming to be polyamorous that there are certain feelings that will not affect them anymore. And it's like, yeah, you don't stop being human. It's just you have better tools to deal with your issues, your emotions, your feelings. You just know better. So, you just have better tools basically. So,
Agreed. I think we can go more on that conversation, but I want to jump into some other questions. Is that okay?
mhm. Oh, absolutely.
Alrighty. So Earl says, I know it's different for different people, but what is a realistic saturation point to effectively maintain multiple relationships? I love that question. I love it. Love it.
Saturation. We use that
So
word a lot in polyamory.
for folks who for folks who don't know the language, polyamory has created its own words
Word
to use. Yeah.
verbiage.
Verbiage. Yeah. Thank you. So saturation is how many people can you be involved with and until you're saturated, until you're full. And you said what is realistic? Like I love that question, but what do you say? Because I have my own answer.
For me, it really depends on the season in my life, right? I at one point realistically, I was able to handle 5 different partners. But at another point, I could only handle just one person because of what was going on in my life. So it's not even just about sex or being romantic, none of that. It's about what else do you have going on? When I'm running around with 2 kids trying to do extracurricular activities after school, when you have meetings to go to for them and parent teacher conference, and then you still have to work. I run 2 businesses. I mean, you have a lot going on, and I still want to make time for family and friends. I don't have many family members here, but I do have a lot of people close in my life that I want to spend time with. So sometimes I don't have the bandwidth to hold space for different partners because I don't want you to feel like an afterthought either.
Mhm.
I like to stay in contact with, my partners. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to see each other every day. It's just we need to be in touch, and sometimes a day goes by and I can't even send a text to somebody. So I think it also depends on what else you have going on in your life, not just how many people you are dating or in a relationship with. It depends on what else is going on in your life.
That's kind of the direction I would go in. I remember one partner I had was very much a calendar keeper, and he scheduled his whole day and his whole week and his whole month, and everything was like
I have to do
and
that too.
yeah. And so basically how it works for him is saturation. I mean, he scheduled his me time, his personal time.
Yep.
And so what was left over was how much time he had for anyone, any
Mm-hmm.
particular individual. So then you match your schedule to his schedule. And literally, because of me working in the restaurant industry, getting out at 10 and 11 o'clock at night, and then all what he has going on, we literally penned in the calendar Mondays.
Yeah.
Mondays for like 3 hours was our date every week.
Right. And that's
And
why you
that
have
was
to
it.
schedule
That was our
things.
whole situation for like months.
Yeah.
And it was a and that was our time. So I really did appreciate that. It's for some people they're like, what? That's it? I was like, you know what? If you meet someone who's wonderful and brings you joy, and all you get is 3 hours of a week in their life, and that 3 hours brings you joy, I don't see what the problem is. I think it's wonderful. It's like something to look forward to.
Right.
So, um, I would say saturation is time effective. So, when you realize what your life is like, then you have to match it with someone else's life. And it could be 10, 2, 1, 3, 5, the number of how many people you can incorporate into your life
Mm-hmm.
could be a lot of people actually, because you might not be seeing these people on a regular basis. I have a partner who I haven't seen in probably 6 months. In fact, 7 months. And we talk on the phone every now and then, and we message, and we want to see each other, but things happen.
Yeah.
And he doesn't live in the city
Mm-hmm.
either. He lives in up in Maryland, but
Mm-hmm.
he's still a special person in my life, and I definitely um hold him dear is just time is just it just doesn't time and space doesn't happen, but he's still part of my, like he's still in the inner circle as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
um and so yeah, but a lot of people be like, oh well, he's not close enough, you don't see him regularly, you don't talk enough. Nah, that's not polyamory doesn't look at it, it looks at life, it looks at experiences. So
Exactly.
saturation is really what saturation looks like for you, you know
Hmm.
um and
Because I
that's
mean,
really
you're not
that's
always
my
gonna
answer.
have the same amount of time every time. Let's take us for example. Like this week, we have not communicated at all since last week
Hmm.
because we've both been so busy.
Ripping and running.
Typically, we can send a few texts even if we don't talk on the phone. Like literally, we went radio silent.
Yeah.
I mean, I was running around. I have so much going on.
Right.
So
And another thing that I'm thinking of, and I read this in one of my poly books, is needs, right? Like you have to also balance what your needs are.
right.
So some people need to have at least one or two partners in close proximity that they can see, touch, and feel on a regular basis.
Hmm.
And then you have what we call comets, who you don't see regularly, but they're out there in the universe and they come through.
Yeah.
You still love them, but you don't see them very often.
Hmm.
And you make time for them because either they live out of town or just even if they live in town, their life is so hectic and that you just can't match schedules. It doesn't mean that you're just going to disregard them. It just means that when you guys can connect, it's a beautiful thing. Um, so really it's based on your needs. Some people are very busy, they're business people, they just got a lot going on, and they're all the relationships 1 2 5 10 20 whatever are really very transient.
Right.
It's really what the individual needs. I need more intimacy on a regular basis, maybe with the same person, and then I will date other people outside of that. Whatever it can look like, whatever you want it to.
Everybody's different.
Which I think I see a comment. I'm assuming the comment was in I think it had to do with, I saw Damani said something about to equal all the women involved to be satisfied. So I'm going to counter that, and I'm guessing he was talking about Earl's conversation about saturation. And if I'm wrong, you guys can pop in and talk about it. But yeah, there's no equality. There does not have to be equality to
Yeah.
all the partners that you have. That's a miss. I think that's something that was probably said in some sort of polygamous circle at some point where you have to have all your wives treated equally. I
Right.
think I've heard that in that realm, but in polyamory, you don't have equality. You don't
Different people have different needs.
The different people have different needs, different times, different types of relationships. I
Exactly.
mean, you might have when they say the lady in the bed, the lady in the streets and the freak in the bed, you might be with the freak and the lady at the same time, and there'd be two different people, and people don't understand that. You might have
Right.
the wild one, the wild child, and you might have the one who can present in the
Right.
at church. So like, and but that's might float your boat, but yeah, you don't have to be equality, you don't have to spend. I did date someone who was like new to poly. This was years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, and he said something about equality to me about, well, you're with him 3 days, so I get 3 days, and then you can have one day for you. And I was like, I don't know where you came up with that mathematics, but baby, that is not how it works for me. So yeah, if I want to spend 1 hour with you in a month, that'll be fine. And if that's not okay with you, then that's between you and I. We work that out. But if I
Right.
spend 7 days with him in a row, that's going to be what it's going to be. And don't come and tell me no equality stuff, because it's not equality. My relationship with whomever I'm involved with is that particular relationship. That's the way I look at it.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes one partner can get to see you 2 to 3 times in one week, and another one does not get to see you at all. I can go 2 to 3 weeks and not see somebody at all. So
Hmm.
it depends, what's
Months.
going
I can
on.
go months without seeing
Oh, yeah.
someone. And it's
Absolutely.
not, sometimes I want to though, but because life
Right.
is lifing,
Exactly.
then you just like, well, I guess I'll
We're
see
all
you when
grown
I see
folks
you.
being busy. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm trying to, retire, win the lottery, anything. So,
Okay,
um,
here's another question.
mhm.
EJ, is it poly if just one partner is seeing other people, the other partner knows about it, is okay with it, but is not seeing other people? Yes.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yes, that is.
As
Sometimes
it,
people are just content with the one partner.
yeah, because not everybody wants different kinds of energy. They're content
Mhm.
at the moment with the one partner, and it's fine. But they're also not putting restriction on their partner as far as what they want to do and how they want to live.
Very good question, EJ. Thank you. I see another
Mhm.
one. Oh, I'm loving these questions, y'all. This is fun.
Hey,
Earl
Miriam.
says, how important is compersion, the opposite of jealousy? See, Earl knows some stuff for
Apparently.
an effective poly structure. So here's more polyamorous verbiage. Compersion is the opposite of jealousy. That is a
That means
term.
when you're happy, when you're excited for your partner, let's say, they're going on a date and you like truly happy for them. I'm not saying you're like, oh my God, I can't wait. It's just, you're good. You're good with that. You're at peace with it. you know?
I can tell you how I've had compersive moments when I would be talking to Jay and he would be like on a video getting dressed for his date with whomever.
Right.
He went on a million dates a week.
He
And
likes dating.
right, he would date everybody. Like he's on 12, he'd be like on 12, his 12th date for the week. And we were dating and Mitu was dating him as well. So that was like
Yeah.
roll your eyes if you care. But anyway, um but I'm here trying, I was like, no, I don't like that shirt, I like the other shirt. So
Right.
it would be kind of fun because it's like, you know I'm in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, how many people are gonna be okay and comfortable and having fun and helping their partner get
Get
dressed to
ready
go
for
out
a
with
date.
somebody else? I'm
Yes.
just like, I just love my life. This is awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
This is awesome.
Hi,
So,
Miriam. Hi,
how
Liz.
important is
Essen.
it? What's your answer?
Um, I mean, I think I don't know that you necessarily need compersion for your poly structure to be effective, but it definitely helps because that's one worry that your partner won't have in the back of their mind. Like, is she truly happy for me? Um, I mean, I think honestly, if you're okay with it, it's kind of a compersion thing.
Mhm.
Maybe it's the level of compersion as, oh yeah, let me help you pick out your outfit is different. I guess at some point, we all have a level of compersion,
Mm.
in our relationship, I would say.
I would think that how important is compersion? I do think it's important, to be honest, because I've learned actually over the last year that when we really release monogamous thoughts about possession and ownership, and really allow people to thrive and allow people to like really do them and enjoy their life, the freedom of letting people just do is compersive. I would say it's kind of on the road of compersion.
Hmm.
I know I used to feel like I don't really care what you do with your person. I don't care where you go. I don't care what you did with your date. I don't give a shit. Like, there's parts of me that I really don't care. But I also, on the other side of that coin, is when I have been introduced into, oh, guess what I did last night? Oh, guess where we went? Oh, guess what? When I have had conversations with people that I'm seeing about what they're doing and they've brought me in, like I'm the friend, I'm the buddy, I'm like oh, we went to this show, it was amazing, you would love it. Da, da, da. I went to this restaurant, and when I'm brought in that way and made to feel like, this is not a private thing. This is not something that, you don't need to be privy on because this is our thing. When you're
Mm-hmm.
when you're made to feel like, hey, I had this beautiful experience with this person. We went to this nice restaurant, we saw this show, we went to this movie, whatever it is, right? When you're brought in because they care about you. You're brought in because they trust you. You're brought in because they know that you are part of this vibe. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And they want to share. It's just like me sharing with like a best friend. Girl, I went out on a date last night. Let me tell you what happened. When you're brought in with a partner like that, yo, you can't do anything but get closer and be closer.
Right.
So how important is it? It's extremely important in my opinion, because having these like compartmentalized relationships are they're just a lot to manage, right? And one guy I dated earlier this year, and we're not dating, but like he's like one of my really good friends, and we talk a lot about that stuff. He brought me into the thought of like really building community, and I really appreciate him for that because, you know, I think I've always had selfish reasons about being polyamorous. Like I just want my cake and I want to eat it too, for sure. But when you really, really go past that and really think of life in the community sense and say, you know what, why can't we all love abundantly and love who we want and enjoy life and have these wonderful experiences and do us and share? Why can't we do that? Then you really see the abundance of what life really should be like. Yo, yeah, compersion is really the place you want to be, to be honest.
Right.
I've learned that recently, and it's the place you want to be. Like, and I was telling what was the guy's name who we interviewed the last time?
Anthony.
That's what I was telling him was with his partners, he's more don't ask, don't tell. He doesn't want to know.
No, he used to be.
It used to be, right. And then
Right.
I was saying to him, and he said, yeah, he started. I was saying to him, you need to ask your partners how their date was and what did they do last night, because they weren't with you. You know what I mean? Like you need
Right.
to ask them and get into what they're doing so that, and if they have a partner, what's your partner's name? Oh, David. Cool. How's David doing? What's going? You know why? Because it starts breaking through that bullshit that we have in our mind
Right.
and start opening. So now when they say, "Oh yeah, I was with David last night," then you could be like, "Cool, how's David doing?" Because you ain't the only one. So
Yeah.
why you gotta live behind a wall?
Exactly. It might be uncomfortable at first, but you get used to it just like everything else, like
Absolutely.
practice makes perfect. Like two of my partners, they are like, I don't want to say best friend. They're not best friend, but they're cool with each other. They're in contact with each other. They text outside of me. I don't even know. They just kind of keep me in the loop. Oh yeah, I was talking to so and so, blah blah blah. And I have one of my metas too. We text almost daily. We're cool. We're just chit chat about life, love, poly, everything in general. So it's amazing when you don't have to be like, oh, I could be like, oh yeah, I was just talking to so and so about that yesterday. And there's no, oh my God, I can't believe you were talking to somebody else or whatever. So it's an amazing
It's a
feeling not having
freedom.
to hide. Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So now
Earl is
that
on a
you
roll today. Earl is getting all the
where's
points.
Rudy? We haven't seen Rudy. No, so I have to say something real quick. Because remember Rudy, he's always asking questions, kind of like Earl.
Yeah.
So he was in an accident. So that's why we haven't seen him the last couple of podcasts. He was in an accident and was hurt. So hopefully he'll be back with us soon. We miss you, Rudy. If you're listening, we miss you. We miss your questions. But I guess Earl is keeping the space for you. And then by the time the both of you are in here, I don't even think we need a whole topic to talk about because you guys are gonna keep us busy.
I like it.
Okay,
You
so
you took that one out.
oh sorry.
Now that you're
Earl.
poly, would you date a monogamous partner? Is it worth it?
Not for me. It's a no-no for me. It's a no-go zone for me. Not worth it because I am just not willing. I'm not saying I cannot. I'm just not willing to deal with monogamous feelings that will come up, into the relationship. I just don't have the patience right now for it. I don't want to entertain it. I don't want to think about it. Um, it's a big fat no for me.
It's gonna be a no for me too, to be honest.
We've
However, I have
come a long way, Sky.
yeah. Well, I
What's
have been
happened?
known. I have been known to talk to um folks who are monogamous, and it just never manifests into it. I can't transition anybody. I would try to do the Jedi mind trick, but it doesn't work. I'm still trying though. think I think I might get it one day, but um here's the thing. A lot of stuff is experimental, right? And the thoughts that I've had about and I've had conversation with friends is, especially for a woman, right?
Hmm.
For a woman, when you put down that you are polyamorous on your dating app page, right? Motherfuckers don't know what the fuck that is, right? They fucking think that your ass is a freak show and that you like they don't understand. They just don't. And
Hmm.
the questions are like the number one question is like, "Oh, you like women?" Like,
Right.
where did you get that from? I am not into that at all. And I'm not against people who are into that.
Hmm.
I am not into that. But there's no real idea of they first like think of like one of my closest partners is not even a sexual partner at all. And we are in each other's lives daily. Like, I don't want to say husband and wife, but it's almost that close. Like it's giving that to me in many
Right.
ways, you know? And some people they go like this. Well, how does that not? But it's
You chose each other, basically.
and we care about each other and we make
Yes.
sure each other's straight and we make sure each other we eat and I mean like we like
Hmm.
I'm just like, gosh, this is an everything relationship for me.
Hmm. Right.
And he said it the same way. And he's poly too,
Hmm.
but this is how our relationship is with each other. And the monogamous the monogamous thing. Oh, we have someone in the building. Anyway,
Oh! It took me a second. I was like, I was reading the comment, not the name of the person who put the
I
comment.
think Nuru the nerd guru, you need to jump in this call, please, because we got some questions for you. You are a good person to talk to about your poly experiences. Por favor. I just posted the link. But anyway, I don't think it's worth it, to be honest, to try to meet monogamous people because you're never gonna get what what you want from them. You can date them and they're gonna fall in love with you, and then they're gonna be like, then you're gonna be
I
like,
don't want
well,
you to do this.
I really want to see multiple people. I want to be. You don't even have to use the word poly because people don't get it. You could just be like, well, I'm dating other people, and they're just gonna think you're a hoe,
Hmm.
and they're not gonna like you. They're gonna be like, well, that's not what I'm looking for. So I just think it's good to just be straight up with people and
First
just say,
conversation.
yeah. I've been known to not do that, but
I do it every single time. I don't
no,
care
I
if.
sometimes talk to monogamous people because I be on those dating apps and I find a monogamous person. I find a person and I'll be like, oh my God, he is so handsome. I'm just gonna be like, I just want to talk to him,
Nah,
but it's not
I
gonna go
just
very
swipe
far.
left, swipe left. I'm like, I don't even get like I don't care how handsome and how well you present yourself. Now we could be friends, depending on your
I'm
outlook
okay with
on
the
life.
friendship. I'm
But
okay with
we're
the
not
friendship.
gonna we're not gonna date. We're not gonna get into a relationship. None of that because, like I said,
But
I don't want to deal with
the
it.
part that gets me a little not happy is when they're like, oh, she's so pretty, and we start talking and there's all this like, and I like you and I like you, and then I will eventually bring it up, especially if I don't bring it up initially, and when I
Hmm.
eventually bring it up, there's the disappointment. It's
Hmm.
like they like the everything about what they love, they just hate me now, and I'm just like, most wanted. That is
Oops.
so trash. So trash.
But
So
yeah,
yeah.
we
So
could go on and on.
those are all the questions that I think we got through the most of them. If y'all have any
Yes,
more, that was pretty good.
I think so. Yeah. I feel like there's gonna be another part of this because I don't feel like we went through everything, but you know.
It's too much. Too much. It's too much. I think if
So
you are into poly, like if you are on an inkling, if you have a tiny speck of interest, the first thing you should do is start reading. That's
start
my, you think
building
so?
yourself up. Yes,
I think
find out information, talk to people, read, listen to podcasts, all the information. There's a lot of information out there.
a lot.
Just educate yourself. And
That's
then
the first
second
thing.
one is be honest with yourself as to why you want to do it and who you are. Do you really see yourself living like that? Be
Right.
honest, not like to other people. Be honest with yourself.
And then like learn the terminology and learn the dynamics, because when I first came out of the closet, of the poly closet, when I first came out as poly, I thought that I wanted to be, or at the time I wanted to be involved with someone in a hierarchy, and I wanted to be a main partner
Hmm.
and then date others and have secondary and etc. Right? So I actually said that actually happened, and I was a main partner to one guy, and I was a secondary to another guy who had a main partner.
Hmm.
But a secondary, I was like, oh, I do not like feeling like this. I just was like, I am not going to be a secondary ever
Yeah.
again. So that's when I decided that hierarchies are not for me. So
Right.
um, I really like communicating with polyamorous people who are educated about polyamory, because when we start saying, when you meet someone, and if you meet a new person, then the conversation kind of goes, well, what's your dynamic?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then they'll say, well, I'm married, or I'm single, or I'm solo poly, but I have, two partners. And I'm like, okay, well, do you do hierarchy or no? And they're like, yes, no. If they do hierarchy, then I'm out. I'm be like, well, you're cool.
Right.
We could be friends and stuff, and we can, go to lunch or whatever. But I have zero interest in anyone who does hierarchy. I'm not even interested. And that's why I probably don't date. I don't date married couples anymore. Married men,
Couples or men? Yeah.
married men, married men. I don't date married men because of hierarchy, because I don't have the patience for it. I've been on a date and the wife called and he's like, oh, I got to go and take care of this. And I'd be like, yeah, that's going
Mm-hmm.
to be the last time you ever see me, because
Right.
if you can't shut that shit down,
Right.
then I'm not, why even bother?
Exactly.
If she's still into you, and I mean, granted, that's okay for your life, but you can't
Mm-hmm.
expect someone to feel special if you still got wife calling you about some bullshit on that's,
When you're
freak.
on a date or spending
Yeah.
time with your
I was
partner.
like,
Yeah.
and then he was like, well, what should I do? What do you think I should do? I was like, maybe you should just stay your ass home, because you're wasting my time. I could be out with somebody who actually enjoys me and
Yes.
wants to be with me all,
Yes.
like, if I only got 2 hours with you, then make that a solid two. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Exactly.
Don't get no phone calls. I mean, you can take a phone call if it's, important or whatever. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
opposed to a phone call. But the
Right.
whole
There are
time it's like, oh, I got
emergencies
to take care of
sometimes.
this problem. Yo, that
Mm-hmm.
shit was, and that the thing about it, what pissed me off even more is the problem was minor. You know what
Right.
I mean? It really was like her putting her, you know, and I was like, yeah, I ain't fighting that fight. I'm not interested.
Yeah. I
If she's
totally
that
understand.
insecure that you're out with somebody else, you need to work that out before you start involving other people into your bullshit. Cause
Exactly. Yep.
I
But
think we did our time. Look at that.
yes,
And the
we
time
did
is up.
pretty good. Yeah, we are leaving early tonight, folks. We will see you in 2 weeks, which will be the 16th
Yeah.
of August. Oh, did you know that this is my month? I'm a Leo for anybody who didn't know. I'm a Leo. My
What's your
birthday is this
birthday?
month, August 20.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I'll
Good,
be
good.
celebrating. So it'll be right before my birthday. Maybe I should have all my partners in the podcast for my birthday. Woo! That would be awesome.
All
No.
of them. Yes,
Everybody. Like,
everybody. I will be here for that in the front row.
yes, yes.
Seriously.
So we
Well,
want
you
to thank
guys,
everyone.
I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got some information and wisdom and knowledge and what have you. And I hope you guys and girls can do us a favor and send this out to all your friends and just say, hey, check this out. Just so we can
Right.
get more exposure. We really appreciate it. And
Remember also to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Poly Pimps. And we also have a Facebook page, same name, and an Instagram. Please follow us. Give us a support if you like what we're doing so we can grow. Share the information with your friends, family, like Sky said. And thank you, thank you, thank you for always tuning in. And we will see you on the 16th of August to also celebrate my birthday.
absolutely. And also send it to your wife, your girlfriend, and your
Your boyfriends, your partners, everybody. Everybody deserves to listen to
and your
this.
boyfriend too.
Yes.
Oh my God, that is
All right. Well,
hilarious.
you guys have a great evening and we'll see you soon.
Peace.
Bye bye.